Good morning. Namaste. Love, greetings, blessings, everyone. True Patriot here, also known as CC2 Arms, behalf of Volunteer Agriculture, True Living Organic Farms. We're back, another day, another live stream, another opportunity to hopefully enlighten or otherwise illuminate some of you. Bring some of you from an unknown position to a better known position, a spot where hopefully you can start to know more rather than believe more. Uh, Apparently I'm banned from Facebook again today. And, generally this happens to a lot of us within the truth community. There's powers that think they are censor almost everything truthful in nature. Everything is generally taught to you the opposite of how it actually is. What's that saying? History is writ by the victors. All right. So the reason you can see my screen, the reason that I've got my screen up is because I wanted to. I'm not just going to tell you about some Facebook censorship. I'm not just going to talk about the efforts made to shadow ban you from social media or cover up truths. I thought that it was important that I actually show my work. That way, there was no discrepancy. That way, you're not taking my word for it. I could show you what I see. And then if there's an alternate perspective, if there's an angle to this that I'm not seeing, if I'm not being altogether truthful, honest, what have you, we can discuss that. But for the purpose of this live stream, I do want to be as transparent as I possibly can with the hope that you, the viewer, will see rather than just hear words. You'll see what I see, and then you'll get maybe a little more of where I'm coming from with all this. Now, I have a total of 7 Facebook profiles that I use. Generally, they're all banned within a day or two of one another. 30 days later, I'll get off the ban, and they're banned there again within 2 to 3 days. Now, I don't know which day specifically the account that I'm fixing to pull up and show you got off restriction. I believe it was around 51 hours ago. What I do know was that yesterday was the first day in 30 days time that I started posting. So what we're going to notice here is that I am blocked. I'm banned for 30 days. I cannot like a comment. I can't send a friend request. I can't post anything. Now, what did I do? They say that I made 2 comments that went against their standards on hate speech. Now, a person, I posted something that was, it was truthful. However, it was something that was not anti-Trump, but it was something that painted Trump, the Donald of Trumps, the character that some of you refer to as the one who presides over you, or a president. It painted a negative view of this character. And of course, most of the typical sheep went on to tell me how evil I was, how bad I was. Same shit, different day. One person in particular said that if I cared about the Jews and I cared about the protection and the safety and the love of the Jews, the poor Jew people that are so oppressed and so hated on, I wouldn't say stuff against Trump. After careful consideration and research of that person's background, I determined that that person was in fact a shill for Israel. I mean, we get a lot of those these days. That's typical. So, my comment that only Jew parasites ever say that, and that is quite often the case. Yeah, it might have been rude, might have been arrogant, may have even been construed as condescending. That was one of the things that they allegedly banned me for. Okay, let's go back. What else? I'll make sure the battery is out of all devices that day. I do not trust that Israeli piece of shit Trump. Again, rude, mean, arrogant, cocky, condescending. Not the worst, but I would agree that those comments are rude. However, if I talk about murdering Hillary, those do not go against the so-called hate speech or community standards on Facebook. If I talk about a Muslim fucking a goat in the ass, completely acceptable on Facebook. Doesn't go against any hate speech. If you go against the so-called public or community acceptable narrative, you get banned. Now, but it gets, but this is, I digress. The banning doesn't really bother me all that much. And, yes, the 5G will be like an active denial system. We're basically going to turn the fucking stratosphere into a fucking magnetron. You're basically going to be able to be zapped and fucking killed at a moment's notice if that was what they chose to do. And the very fact, and it is a fact, that Israel will not have 5G. They're designing it. They intend for it to go worldwide, global, if you will. I don't like that term, global. Globe. Fucking ballers, bullshit. But Israel's not even going to use or have the same system that they're designing for the rest of the world. Anyway, I could spend days talking about ISIS Rael, but there's no point. This live stream isn't about Israel or Jews or any of that bullshit. This live stream's about censorship. Five Eyes Corps and shit like that. Do your research. Google it. Matter of fact, I put enough in the fucking video, in the live stream description, that if you can't at least get started with that, you don't need to be fucking using the internet anyway. Moving right along. So this is the bullshit that they have banned me for. Now, Facebook will tell you that you have, that you can dispute things. They will tell you that they can take a deeper look into things. Because, sometimes their AI or their algorithms make mistakes. So they do have actual people that will look into your situation. And if they determine that there's an error, they may reverse their decision. But what I'm about to show you is that that's all bullshit. Every bit of that is lies. That's never been true. It's not true now, nor will it ever be true. And that if they determine that you can influence or otherwise alter the narrative, they will make sure they silence you. And in cases like mine, they do this all across the whole social media platform, everywhere. Twitter, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube, MySpace, everywhere. Some of us have more, we have more trouble even getting on social media than any of you could imagine. Let's get right to it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click continue down here. Well, I guess I better pull over here to my dashboard and see if you are seeing this. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's get over here. Let's go to continue. Watch this shit. This is funny. Now, this happens to me all the time. This has happened to me right now on another profile, which I'll show you in a minute. It is still getting banned for posts that were made over 5 years ago. That's right, folks. I posted a post one time 5 years ago, and I still get banned today over that post. Anyway, we'll go down here to continue. Yes, 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 continue, blah, blah, blah. I can't say that. Yeah, continue. Let's see. Request a review. We'll take another look at the comment. For record, folks, I did in fact request that they do a review. It's my contention that they will only review or look into, again, some content. There's some content that require that you permanently be shadow banned. Anyway, that's my contention, and we'll just see here in a minute what types of stuff they'll look into. See the next post. Okay. So only Jew parasites ever say that. So when a shill cusses me, calls me racist, calls me a bigot, calls me a plethora of different names because I do not support the terrorist state of Israel or the parasites which control it, then that's completely acceptable. But if I respond to them by saying that only Jew parasites ever say that, then I should be banned. Moving right along. What else can I not? Yes, I did post a comment about the 5G mobile revolution designed in Israel. The very same 5G that they will never have, that they will never use, that they will never allow within Israel. So you've got this grid that's going to cover all of Earth with the exception of Israel. That's designed for and by Israel. And they're never going to use it. I guess I'd be a conspiracy theorist to say that Israel knows something the rest of the world isn't being clued into. Anyway, let's moving right along. Let's keep going. Continue. We'll request a review. Yes, request a review. Yeah. See the next post. Okay. Yes, I usually, if I leave the primary residence, I do not take devices with me. If there is a reason that I need to take a device, I do not have the batteries installed in said device until such time the device is needed. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've walked out the door and the minute I put the fucking battery in the phone, weird shit started happening. And I know it's all in my head. And I'm just a conspiracy theorist, a fringe lunatic. None of it can be true. All right, whatever. Your fucking opinions are your opinions. My opinions are mine. Hey, moving right along. Request a review. Yes, we need to request a review for that. Hopefully now it's... Now, we should be to the point where I can show you some of the last times that Facebook banned me. And I'll show you some of the other profiles. Okay. I think we gotta go over to oh, there we go. I know where we're going. Here we go. We'll go here. Then we're going to go support messages. Now these are from today, right? Okay. This is in review. Now you see this, folks. Every time that they, this is what you're looking at here you're looking at my support, the console for support. And you're looking at every time, and I have been banned. I don't, how many times have I been banned exactly? I don't know. Let's pull up one of the other profiles and see how it's looking today. So we'll log out of that one. I told you folks, we've got several. Let's go to, oh, this is another good one. And I haven't checked this one. This one might actually be able to use this one again. I don't know. Is this one back yet? Or is it still banned? Oh, it appears that this one is still usable. It's back from its suspension or what have you. Okay. Now, they banned me. They said that I posted something that went against their standards on nudity or sexual activity. I requested that they review it. You see the date here, folks? The original post was done on September 10th. They're still reviewing it. Let's go down here. If you say anything against Israel, period, it doesn't matter if it's truthful or not. They'll say that they'll review it, but they never do review it. A physical person will never look into that post. Here's another one. And this one was from back in October. They banned me for these. Each time you see one of these things where it says something that went against their community standards, they banned me. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you what that specific post was. You know the Jewish rabbis, they do the circumcision and then suck the blood off the little boy's penis. I posted a picture of it. It didn't show nothing but a fucking pedophile Jewish rabbi sucking blood off of a baby's penis. Truthful. That really happens. That's not something I'm making up. That was an entirely truthful post. And there was nothing. It was graphic insofar as you knew where the rabbi's head and mouth were. But you didn't see nothing. And I was banned just for publishing it. I've asked that they look into it. Anyway, we're moving right along. That's just one example. You'll notice that all of these times that it says, not me reporting something, because, you know, this is, you know, there's been attacks and counterattacks against these shills all the time. Anything that I post, almost, it just gets banned. It's getting to where you can't even use Facebook at all. I mean, period. I mean, they do this on other sites. Facebook is the worst of them. I could go over back to the. I've got my screen share visible, so I'm not able to see chat. So you all are going to see chat with me if there's anybody chatting in here. Perth. Cheers, Perth Absorber. Hello, the rest of chat. We're looking at my Facebook. I was taken off ban yesterday, and I was put back on ban today. The Israelis really do not take kindly to anyone posting anything which goes against their lies, negativity, and their bullshit. Of course, I really shouldn't say bullshit, because the hell, isn't that one of their, the bull is the fertility god. Isn't sex magic pretty popular with the pretend or like Jews, also known as Jewish peoples? And the Five Eyes Corps, folks, there's more, just a ton of data on the internet about the Five Eyes Corps. The type of surveillance that we're under, the type of censorship that we're all exposed to. Oh, well, we're on the topic of censorship. Let's pull up Google Voice, right? Does anybody use Google Voice? Okay. Imagine this. Imagine that someone texts me and I text them back, right? And I have their phone number and they have my phone number. And then all of a sudden, their phone number disappears. The transcript of the text, the dialogue between myself and the person still exists. But the phone number associated with the dialogue disappears. One can only be led to a couple of conclusions. First conclusion. Someone or something obviously manipulated the metadata associated with the dialogue. Meaning someone or something intervened. Second observation. There is someone or something that doesn't want me having that number anymore. Even though someone or something knew at some point I had that number. Now, I have not looked since yesterday, and I hope I'm not setting you up for something and then not even going to be able to show it to you, because that oftentimes happens. Kind of like when I get a threatening message on my phone or device from the 40s or the 50s. And then I talk about it, or maybe even I do a video on it, and I pull up the fucking device and the message disappears. And then people say, you're fucking crazy. Anyway. Weird shit happens in Looney Tunes. This crazy fucking world we live in nowadays. So anyway, let's just see. Let's pull up my Google Voice. Hopefully there's nothing too terribly awful bad that you can see. Blah, blah, blah. And a bunch of fucking numbers that probably don't mean much. Unknown. Okay, now, this person here, unknown. See this? It says unknown. I've texted them a couple times. So obviously, there was a point at which I knew their number. Obviously, my device texted their device. Now their number's disappeared. I'll tell you what I think. My personal opinion, that person is either now or has in the past worked for a federal entity. And I say a federal entity because a state, county, or otherwise local entity would not have the technological advantage needed to be able to remove a phone number from Google servers. When you're dealing with Google servers now, folks, you're not dealing with some fucking local fucking damn inbred fucking constable, county police, sheriff, deputy. You're dealing with something a little larger than that. And it's the very fact that they do this stuff that's the problem. You know, surveillance, censorship, silencing of truth. I mean, what kind of world are we in which being honest is discouraged? And it's pathetic, folks. It truly is. And on that note, I think I'm going to put this video. I think we're going to watch it together. And I might get on here and comment some more. But then again, I might just watch this video and say, fuck it, and go hiking up in the woods for a little while. I don't know. But anyway, on that note, let me close out some of these tabs. And I'm just going to pull up this other tab here. We'll watch the whole thing. And here we go. Let's just go like this. Kill my mic. Sorry that this looks so funny for a minute. Apologies for that, folks.
Begin transmission. This is a message from the anonymous charity also known as The Collective. Today's broadcast date is December 11, 2018. It is part 1 of a series. Please note, it is important that you, the viewer, understand something before we go any further. We, The Collective, do not create this content for your admiration or applause. We do not seek laurels or your kind words. Our goal is, and always has been the same: provide the people with the truth. Help the helpless. Speak for those without a voice. Bring justice for the oppressed. Now, with that being said, let's delve into this. Biohacking has been going on for thousands of years. However, the implantable computer chips we have today have only recently come to public knowledge. The US and other governments have been implanting humans for a very long time. You may recall stories of alien abductions and perhaps have even seen and read survivors' accounts. Most, if not all, claim they have been implanted, and as those who have taken tests to locate their implants have discovered, they were right all along. Though it was not an alien abduction, just a government one. Looking back in history, we see it documented that brain electrodes were inserted into the skulls of babies in 1946, without the knowledge of their parents. In the 1950s and 60s, electrical implants were inserted into the brains of animals and humans, especially in the US, during research into what they call behavior modification, and brain and body functioning. Mind control. But public record states that the first surgical brain implants were done in 1974 in Ohio, USA, and also in Stockholm, Sweden. In Sweden, Prime Minister Olof Palme gave permission in 1973 to implant prisoners, and data inspection's ex-Director General Jan Friis revealed that nursing home patients were implanted in the mid-1980s. Guinea pigs used in secret government experiments have always included prisoners, soldiers, mental patients, handicapped children, deaf and blind people, homosexuals, the elderly, school children, and any group of people considered marginal by the elite. There are many similarities in the methods and routine of brutality between the Gestapo and Swedish security police called SÄPO. Moreover, SÄPO is exploiting a new kind of computer technique to enable them to control human thoughts and behavior. In 1967 at Söder Hospital, Robert Nesland was awaiting an operation. SÄPO forced the surgeon to participate in a brain implantation on Nesland. He had been labeled a dissident. After being violently sedated, a 5 centimeters long incision was made in his frontal bone, in which they placed the object, a radio transmitter which has been transmitting a high-frequency electromagnetic beam through his brain 24 hours a day ever since. The dimensions of the device are a mere 7 by 4 millimeters. Nesland, after discovering that he was illegally implanted, has since exposed how transmitters are being implanted in people's heads during routine hospital surgery. Most commonly, these are inserted through the nostrils, from where they operate using two-way radio communication. In America, the same year as the implant of the transmitter at Söder Hospital, the Department of Psychiatry at Yale University published a report entitled Man's Intervention in Intracerebral Functions. The authors wrote, "Techniques are being developed for the investigation and manipulation of man. Two-way communication with the depth of the brain makes it possible to send and receive information to and from the brain. We can start, stop or modify a variety of autonomic, somatic, behavioral, and mental manifestations. We can experiment with intracerebral mechanisms responsible for the onset and maintenance of specific behavioral and mental functions. As no batteries are used, the life of the transmitter is indefinite. Power and information are supplied by radio frequencies. Cyber soldiers can thus be created. This secret technology has been used by military forces in certain NATO countries since the 1980s without civilian and academic populations having heard anything about it, as is very typical. Today the US, Russia, China and other countries experiment with implants and drugs to create a super soldier. Manchurian Candidate aka mind control tests were conducted at the U.S. Army's Edgewood Arsenal in Maryland between 1950 and 1975. Dr. Colin E. Ross exposed this and states, electrodes are put into dolphins and the dolphins are directed by remote transmitter to deliver a bomb to a target. There is discussion of similar technology in cats and other animals. There is research funded by the Office of Naval Research published in mainstream journals where electrodes are put into the brains of cats, dogs and their behaviors controlled and even human beings at Harvard and Yale, so this is absolutely documented fact. Ross says operators are able to force animals to walk or swim to designated areas, and in humans, control limited actions, such as hitting a wall, staring into space or strumming a guitar. Participants in these testing programs are always called volunteers, though they are made to sign paperwork stating they will never discuss the tests, and do not truly understand what is going on. Just like today. Attorney Gordon P. Erspamer, who represents some U.S. veterans filing suit against the U.S. military for illegal human experimentation, said members of the group have said they were given high doses of hallucinogenic drugs as well as brain implants. At South Vietnam's Bien Ho Hospital, a scientific engineering institute team buried electrodes in the skulls of Viet Cong prisoners of war and attempted to spur them into violence by remote control. Upon completion of the experiments, the prisoners of war were shot and cremated by a company of America's best, the Green Berets. Edwin Land of the Polaroid Corporation and agent of the CIA's Mind Control Program, founded the Scientific Engineering Institute on behalf of the CIA. Leonard Kill was a talented electronics engineer and co-inventor of the Polaroid Land camera named after Edwin Land. Kill was the holder of patents for inventions willed to MIT, when his brain was disabled by CIA psychiatrists Vernon Mark of Boston City Hospital and UCLA's Frank Irvine. Kill was forced into psychiatric hospitalization and brain surgery after he got mad at his wife for cheating on him, which she was. In the operating room, 4 electrical strands running the length of his brain were implanted. Each strand was studded with 20 or so electrodes. It was only after surgery that Kill was asked to sign his consent with the strands in place, already shocking his brain. In 1971 an attendant found him with a wastebasket over his head to stop the microwaves. He was transferred and written off as a paranoid psychotic. No one ever even checking to see if what he told them was true. Kill wrote, "The Mass General and labs are killing all the useful cells in my brain," in a note to a VA doctor when the electrodes burned lesions into his amygdala, which left him paralyzed from the waist down. In July 2002 4 U.S. soldiers at Fort Bragg, including 3 Special Operations servicemen, returned home from Afghanistan and allegedly killed their wives. In 2 of the cases, the soldiers killed themselves after shooting their spouses. So military officials say. In the other 2, the servicemen have been arrested and are facing charges. Major Gary Kolb, a spokesman for the Army Special Operations Command, states, "There has been a recent series of instances where soldiers have either committed murder or murder-suicide against their wives. Such are the stories the public gets to hear. When one knows what really goes on, the puzzle makes more sense. People do not naturally go around killing their friends, spouses, children and neighbors. It is not a naturally common thing. But military brains, what some foolishly call heroes, are mind-controlled." In 2010, more military veterans sued the CIA over experiments involving brain implants to turn humans into robot-like assassins, aka Manchurian candidates. The second major Cold War experimentation effort involved the CIA's 25-year secret program of mind control experiments conducted in response to the 1940s and 1950s Soviet Union and Chinese Communist brainwashing scare. The massive experimentation program involved several thousand human subjects in several countries and resulted in deaths, injuries, and violations of human rights and civil liberties. CIA mind control research took place in more than 80 institutions. At that time, the experimentation program investigated a long list of mind control techniques including lobotomies, electric shock therapy, hypnosis, brain implants, drugs and torture. The 1957 report of a CIA Inspector General concluded that the mind manipulation programs were unethical and illegal, but should be continued and kept secret not only from the enemy but also from the American public. Most of the documents about the mind control experiments were destroyed in 1973, on orders from CIA Director Richard Helms, though several documents involving one of the operations MKUltra were left behind and leaked. Dr. Rossity worked on the CIA's Pandora project, using microwaves to send signals to human brains. His tests showed how human brains can be controlled remotely through extremely low-frequency modulated microwave beams, able to cause psychological and physical harm. People can be turned into zombies, their minds easily controlled. The waves also affect human blood, cardiovascular system, cells, central nervous and digestive systems, glands, metabolism, reproduction, eyesight, and hearing. Other effects include unexplainable burning, itching, tickling or pressure, humming or buzzing causing sleeplessness and anxiety, loss of body control, producing sudden twitching or jerking of an arm or leg, and feelings of dread, rage, lust, sorrow, or other emotions that come and go quickly. Moreover, sounds and speech can be placed in victims' brains, actual voices they can't control or stop. During Dr. Addy's experiments, human subjects could be made suicidal or driven mad. George Bush Sr. declared the 1990s the decade of the brain, focusing effort to enhance public awareness of the benefits to be derived from brain research, naturally keeping the elite agenda hidden. In January 1999, the European Parliament called for an international convention introducing a global ban on all developments and deployments of weapons which might enable any form of manipulation of human beings. Let's see how well that has gone. March of 2008, the CIA responded incorrectly in writing to a Freedom of Information Act request. The documents which we accidentally sent detailed the CIA's use of biomedical intellectual property developed at the Alfred Mann Foundation, Second Sight LLC, Advanced Bionics, and under Naval Space Warfare contract. The document states the operation is currently and properly classified pursuant to an executive order in the interest of national security. Let us take a look at these Nazi doctors of the USA government. The Alfred Mann Foundation was founded by British Ashkenazi Jew, Alfred Mann, who also founded Second Sight Medical Products, a biomed company. Just a glance at Mann's foundation exposes criminal and medical misconduct regarding their implants, as one would expect from an elitist swine. Alfred Mann was the largest investor in Eclipse Aviation and one of the main investors in the development of Mulholland Estates in California. Individuals at the Mann Foundation have expressed a desire to create a universal family of microstimulators that could be used for a visual, auditory or motor prosthesis. Medical device experimenter Alfred Mann is also founder of Bionus, Qualian, LLC, produces high-reliability batteries for medical products and for the military and aerospace industries, without which these devices would not run. Qualian LLC designs and manufactures primary and rechargeable lithium-ion custom cells and batteries for use in medical, military, aerospace, HEF/FEF, and other industries. It offers primary, secondary, polymer, and matrix batteries. Qualian LLC operates as a subsidiary of Enesis. Though now thankfully dead, Mann's children continue on. Mann's son Brian works at Pacesetter Systems and daughter Carla works at Advanced Bionics. Let us take a moment to mention these lithium batteries used in implanted devices. As they are so easily damaged, what do you expect will happen when they break inside of your body and leak their chemicals directly into your DNA? This, not its convenience, should be the concern. Panasonic is one supplier of the lithium-ion cells that form the foundation of Tesla's batteries, and partner on the company's upcoming battery factory. It is one of Elon Musk's goals to make the world entirely powered by batteries charged with renewable energy. Of course, Tesla and Panasonic are stating their product is 100% recyclable. Research in Australia found that only 2% of the country's 3,300 tons of lithium-ion waste was recycled. The Oxford Society of Toxicology states in one study of lithium effects on the body, that the resulting neurological disorders may be life-threatening, including coma, seizures, and myoclonic encephalopathy. The study was done on rats as per law, but the results would be the same in humans infected and poisoned by lithium, as accounts have already shown. Data from lithium-infected birth registries suggest an increase in cardiac and other anomalies, especially Epstein's anomaly. Signs and symptoms of lithium toxicity such as hypotonia, hypothermia, cyanosis and ECG changes have been reported in some infants and neonates. Chile, Argentina and China are the top 3 countries in terms of production capacity of lithium carbonate, with China being the top. In 2007, these 3 countries met 94% of the world's total demand of lithium carbonate, also known as white gold. In January of 2010, the Department of Transportation reviewed the safety risks of lithium transport, stating, "Lithium cells and batteries are considered hazardous materials in transportation because they present both chemical and electrical hazards. If not safely packaged and handled when transported in bulk, lithium cells and batteries can become dangerous." Demand for lithium is increasing exponentially, as the lithium batteries are used in everything, and it doubled in price between 2016 and 2018. Lithium extraction inevitably harms the soil and causes air contamination. The other 2 key ingredients in lithium batteries is cobalt and nickel. Cobalt is found in huge quantities across the Democratic Republic of Congo and Central Africa, and hardly anywhere else. The price has quadrupled in the last 2 years. The Congo contains artisanal mines, where cobalt is extracted from the ground by hand, often using child labor, without protective equipment. From as young as 4 years old, children pick cobalt out of a pile, and even those too young to work spend the day breathing in toxic fumes. Inhalation of cobalt particles can cause respiratory sensitization, asthma, decreased pulmonary function and shortness of breath, resulting in a serious lung disease called hard metal lung disease, the CDC says. Dermal exposures to hard metal and cobalt salts can result in skin irritations including dermatitis. Cobalt poisoning can also occur from cobalt, chromium metal on metal hip implants, and is used to treat cancer, which is one reason why people get seriously ill from cancer treatment. Cobalt can accumulate to toxic levels in the liver, kidney, pancreas, and heart, as well as the skeleton and skeletal muscle. No surprise that cobalt has been found to produce tumors in animals and is a human carcinogen as well. And that's only some of what's inside the implants. The coating of the implants is also hazardous, and as everyone's tolerance to toxic substances is different, results may vary. Still, people are lining up to inject themselves, as insanity is now reality. We, the collective, hope you will take the time to read the links included, as we cannot touch on everything we wish to in this series. A look into the lithium researchers and plant disasters and deaths should make it clear just how safe this product is, and just how smart people will really be when they implant it into their bodies. We suppose the bright side to all of this is that finally, stupidity will have the ability to kill its host. That will be a relief to most of us who use our perfectly human brains and will continue to, without artificial assistance. In 2013, a U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's Design for the Environment report concluded that batteries using nickel and cobalt, like lithium-ion batteries, have, quote, the highest potential for environmental impacts. It goes on to cite more negative consequences like mining, global warming, environmental pollution and human health impacts. The Washington Post reported in May 1995 that Prince William of Great Britain was implanted at the age of 12 under the cover that it was so he could be located anywhere in the world. In 2015, Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking, and more than 20,000 other experts signed an open letter calling for an autonomous weapons ban. At the time, Musk called artificial intelligence a major threat to the internet itself. He has also repeated this late in 2018. He also claimed that it's only a matter of time until we see a massive AI attack on internet infrastructure. His brilliant solution to this catastrophe was to implant AI directly into your brain with a neural link. Another fool who claims humans can control AI by merging with it. The fallen cannot be controlled, especially by merging with them. These are the ludicrous ideas pushed into the public today. People probably think it even makes sense because they no longer think. But we already knew Elon was an elitist, was an agenda. Once again he overlooks the obvious. The point of AI is to absorb the internet, it is the blood which gives AI life. Also the other obvious forgotten fact, an implant can be hacked. Everything is hackable, and with the help of his fantastic implants connected to your brain, anyone at any time they please will be able to hack away and do whatever they wish with your brain. Trust us, as competent hackers, hackers will hack it because it is what we do and it is a challenge. It's the same as the hackers that can access your Facebook account or your smart homes and play with your radios, cars and lights. Anyone will be able to control your eyesight, your hearing, your motor functions and your thoughts. And the elite will. And hackers will. One such experiment was done to test if SQL would work on an RFID chip. This was, needless to say, successful. The implant chip was infected with the malicious code. Because of the way the malicious code has been written, instead of simply reading data from the implanted chip to store in the database, the system also executed SQL injection code which had some dire consequences for the system. The profile data from the infected chip was copied into the file, old profile, as expected. However, the new profile was also overwritten in the database by a copy of the virus itself. But even more damning was the fact that the code designed to ensure that only the database entry for that chip was modified, was cleverly commented out by the malicious code. The result was that the virus was copied into the new profile field for all chips, and so any chip subsequently using the system will likely become overwritten and infected. A feature of a computer virus is that it must have the ability to self-replicate, and this is evident here. Having corrupted the database contents in such a way to allow replication, there was a further payload associated with the virus. Administration of the RFID's database is done through a web browser, and once the system was infected, the web browser was redirected to another website, denying easy access to rectify the problem. This is how it works. An epic hack. This is so much more information to give you. We, the anonymous charity known as The Collective, will post part 2 of this series on December 12, 2018. This has been a message from Anonymous dated December 11, 2018. End of transmission.